Bluey's future is already guaranteed with the new main character, her daughter. But will the new little pup actually be a good protagonist? Name. Until today, the creator of the show, Joe Brum, has not revealed what the little pup's name will be, but we believe she will be called Roxy. You've heard that name here before, right? But why are we so sure about this? It's simple. It has already been confirmed that Bluey is a rainbow baby, which means she was born after Chili lost a puppy. And everybody knows that a rainbow is made of colors and lights that we see in the sky. And the name Roxy can mean little star or sunrise. Both of those things also happen in the sky, just like a rainbow. So it's very possible that the creators decide to give Bluey's daughter a name connected to daylight and brightness. Of course, this is just a theory, but it makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Today, we're going to tell you everything you need to know about Roxy. So grab your popcorn and get comfy on the couch. Another Cinewave is starting. Gender. But how can we be so sure that Roxy will be a girl? Well, that's actually really easy to answer, because the creator of the show already said that she will be a girl. Joe Brum revealed this on the podcast Gotta Be Done, which is a show made by fans of the Healer family. But there's even more to it. Back in 2016, when the series was still being created, Joe Brum originally thought about making the main character a boy, and he was talking about Rusty. But then he realized the show would work better if the protagonist was a girl, meaning Bluey. So even if Joe hadn't confirmed Roxy's gender, we could still say she would be a little female pup. And the reason is simple. The world of Bluey just works better when the protagonist is a girl. And in the future, when Roxy is born, she will most likely become the new main character. The episode Surprise. But do we already know the story that continues from the episode Surprise? Well, there are some theories that help us understand what's really happening that day.
Bluey appears as an adult at the end of Surprise, where we find out she has a daughter. But look at this. Roxy is wearing a toy outfit with a little cannon that shoots foam balls, just like Bluey used in the past. In this story, Roxy is waiting for Bandit so she can launch an attack on Grandpa Healer, and this clue is very important to understand what is happening. It seems that Roxy and Bandit have a game. Roxy hides, Bandit has to find her, and when they meet, the granddaughter launches her foam ball attack on him. But wait a second. Bluey's daughter doesn't live in that house because Bluey showed up as a surprise to visit her parents. So that means this game between Roxy and Bandit must be something that happens over many days. And Bandit is probably expecting an attack at any moment. Will we see the continuation of this story in the future? Let's hope so. Parents. But do we know who the father of the little pup is? Well, that is a bit harder to answer because this detail divides the Bluey fan base a lot. Joe Brum revealed in the same podcast that he decided to play a little joke on the fans. He asked the animators to include features from both Mackenzie and Jean-Luc in Roxy, meaning it's as if she had one mom and two dads. Wait, what? That's impossible! Yes, the truth is that Ludo Studios, the production company, knows that fans are divided about who Bluey should date and marry. Some fans want her to end up with Jean-Luc, while others prefer Mackenzie. So Joe Brum wanted to keep both sides happy. But there are more chances that the Border Collie will be Bluey's future husband. And we know that because 1, Jean-Luc hasn't appeared since season 1 and hasn't been mentioned again. Yes, we know he returns in the future when Bluey is a teenager, but remember, he doesn't live in Australia and would probably have to return home. 2. One of the only episodes that talks directly about romantic love is Boats and Barkers, where we meet Mia and the captain, and that whole story is clearly a parallel to Bluey and Mackenzie. And finally, Roxy herself looks a lot like a border healer, which is a mix between Bluey's breed and Mackenzie's breed. So we are almost sure that our beloved blue pup will choose the Border Collie as her future husband. But who knows, maybe Joe Brum changes his mind someday. What do you think? Would you rather see Jean-Luc or Mackenzie as Roxy's dad? Comment #Roxy so we can get to know you. Babysitter. One of the biggest theories about Roxy's future is connected to the episode Double Babysitter, because that was the day we met Bluey's oldest uncle and the beginning of his romance with Frisky. In that story, Chili invited two characters to watch the girls, and there's a theory that she did that on purpose to help her friend Frisky fall in love with Bandit's brother. But what does that have to do with Roxy? Well, maybe everything. Chili's matchmaking trick might happen again in the future, but this time, Bluey would be the one pairing up two pups in love. One night, Bluey will need to go out with her husband, so she'll call a friend to take care of her daughter. Who could this friend be? Maybe Indy, who will probably marry Rusty, but it could also be Chloe, who many people believe will marry Jack. Or perhaps Bingo herself, who fans think might marry Dougie, meaning Roxy would be the little Cupid who helps form a brand new couple. Age. And do you know how old Roxy is in the scene where she appears for the first time? This one is easy, so we'll give you 3 seconds. Ready? Of course, Roxy was 4 years old at that time. But how do we know that? If you look closely, she's the same height as Bingo. Roxy also looks younger than Bluey looked when she was little. Some people even had a theory that Roxy was Bingo's daughter because they thought they looked similar. But the truth is that Roxy resembles her aunt because in that scene, she is the same age Bingo was in the present timeline of the show. So that's why we can say with confidence that Roxy is 4 years old at the end of Surprise. The Great Roxy. Roxy will probably become the new main character of a show named after her, and one of the episodes we believe Joe Brumm might write is the story of the Great Roxy. If you already know the Healer Family universe, then you know what we're talking about. There's an episode called Mini Bluey, where our protagonist uses hair paints to pretend to be her sister. In this new story, Roxy will get upset with her mom for some reason, and it's probably because Bluey has trouble understanding how her daughter feels. So Bluey is going to have a brilliant idea. She'll grab some hair paints and transform herself into the Great Roxy, so she can show her daughter what it's like to be a grown-up. The coolest part is that halfway through the episode, Roxy will become Mini Bluey and understand her mom's feelings. This episode will definitely be one of the most emotional in the entire series. Are you excited to see this story? Only child. But will Roxy have a sister, or will she be an only child? This is one of the biggest questions fans have, even today. But we already have the answer. Roxy will most likely have a sister, just like Bluey has Bingo. And we know this because the show needs the main character to have a partner for the games and adventures she invents. And yes, it will be a sister, not a brother, because the Healer Family show works better when the main characters are girls. That's why Bluey's cousins Muffin and Socks are also girls. And why are we talking about this? Well, Roxy will also have cousins, Bingo's daughters. But that's a topic for another time. For now, you just need to know that the subscribe button is right there, waiting for you. How about clicking and keeping up with everything we post? Playtime. And what is Roxy's favorite game? The episode Surprise already answered that. Of course, she loves playing hide and seek and launching foam ball attacks at Grandpa Bandit. And that proves something very important about our new protagonist. She is definitely the younger version of Bluey. That also means Roxy is very creative and funny and loves inventing characters. Good thing Bluey was trained by the best dad in the world, a true expert in making kids have fun. Bandit, magic. And if there is one thing Bluey needs to teach Roxy, it's the magic that exists in the Healer Family. Anyone who watched the episode Magic knows that the dogs have powers. Well, at least they pretend they do. In the Healer Family, there's a rule. If you make a funny motion with your hands, people have to move as if you are controlling them. But there is another rule: never use magic to be mean. And that's something Bluey didn't learn. So when she teaches her daughter how to use magic, Roxy will definitely cause a lot of mischief. Luckily, Grandma Chili has a powerful gift and will find a way to teach her granddaughter what real magic is. The tree. Something that will very likely happen in the future of the show is Bluey planting a tree with her daughter Roxy. That's because in the episode Camping, the little blue pup learns how meaningful and special that act can be. When Bluey planted a tree with Jean-Luc, time passed, the tree grew, and the two friends found each other again. That moment is one of the most magical in the whole series, and Bluey will surely want her daughter to feel something just as special. But that's not all. Roxy will probably really enjoy being in nature for several reasons. The first one is because, as we already explained, there's a strong chance that she'll be a border healer, and that kind of dog really needs a big space to run and play. And the second reason is that in the Bluey universe, the creators of the show chose to make a series where the younger ones play like real children and don't stay stuck in front of cell phones. So it's very likely that Roxy will be a pup who loves playing outdoors, and that's really awesome. School. And for Roxy's future, we can also expect her to study at the same school her mother did. We still don't know if Calypso will be Roxy's teacher, just like she was for Bluey, but it's very likely. Just like Madame Gazelle in the Peppa universe was the teacher for both the parents and the kids, it makes sense that in Bluey's world, Calypso would also teach Roxy. Of course, there's a theory that the school will have a new teacher and that this character could be Honey, or even Bluey herself someday, but we still think the series won't send Calypso away. Roxy is a pup who will probably lead games among her friends, and we can barely wait to see Bluey's daughter as the new protagonist of this universe. But until then, the fun doesn't stop here. There are 2 amazing videos waiting for you on the screen. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.